Hello and welcome to another episode of RV Cubs Show.
Hello. So, today we would like to discuss 5 simple questions that we like to ask when we're going to a campground, and we hope that these questions can help you out as well. Real quickly, it's what time does check-in close, and what to do if you're late. Is it a pull-through or a back-in site, and making sure they know the length of your rig. Are there full hookups, partial hookups, or no hookups? Can you have wood fires? And what are the amenities such as Wi-Fi, laundry, restrooms, showers, playgrounds, and pools? So we'll go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, and these are not only the questions to ask, but also think about when you are trying to figure out where to stay. So we'll start with the first one. What time to check in? And I think it's one of the most important ones. You want to figure out their office hours and what time is the earliest you can check in or the latest. A lot of times you will be on the road, running late, unexpected things happen, stops take longer than expected, and you might be running late. So at that point, you would want to call your campground and ask them what time they close and make sure that they're waiting for you. They can either choose to wait for you if it's not too late, or sometimes they just leave an envelope hanging outside the office and you can pick it up and there will be your site location and you will pay in the morning.
And directions of what to do.
Yeah, with directions and everything.
And also it's nice to know exactly what you're getting into as far as if they're going to wait for you or leave you directions, because if you're late, chances are you might be pulling in at nighttime. And if you've never set up at nighttime, it's not always the most fun, and it can be a little more challenging than having the sun over you helping you out.
Yeah.
So,
one time we were in Keystone going to Mount Rushmore, and we didn't call them ahead of time. We didn't. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what kind of site it was. It was like our stop number 3 on our
So
journey.
I pull in the driveway going uphill, and I'm towing a Jeep, and then I realize that I got into a spot that I can't get out. Luckily, there were people having a fire and eating food next to us, and they told us what to do. They said normally the people leave an envelope up there with your name on it telling you what to do. So we went up there and found the envelope, and this time we got lucky that the lady was just walking out. It was past closing time, past check-in time, but she hadn't left yet.
1 hour late.
So we got to talk to her. She told us what to do, and I pulled up a little further. I had to unhook the Jeep in that spot, and then we both drove. I drove the motorhome. She drove the Jeep to our spot. So
we had to unhook because we didn't know that there was no loop or exit that way, and we just kept going uphill. So the good probably idea would be to pull on the side of the road, then go check out the area. And if it's good, then go that way.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Okay, the next question to ask is that I like to ask if it's a pull-through or a back-in site, simply because, especially even if I'm getting late, if it's a back-in site, I know before I get too far back there, like maybe where I'm checking in, I'll go ahead and unhook the Jeep there and just have her follow me in, and I'll back in the site, and then I'll pull the Jeep in front. Or maybe sometimes you might pull in the Jeep first and then back up the motorhome. So if it's a pull-through site, then unless you need the Jeep to go run around or your vehicle, you can just leave it hooked up and not have to worry about it. Yep. So it's always nice to know whether it is a pull-through or back-in. And also, if they don't ask the length of your rig, which they normally always do, make sure they know the length of your rig. If they do not ask, make sure they know how long you are with your car hooked up. I mean, the full length. Just so you know that they can accommodate you. So the next one is knowing whether it's full hookups, partial, or no hookups. If you're dry camping, then there's going to be no hookups, so you got to make sure your fresh water tank is full and your black and gray tanks are empty. Sometimes, right now, we're at Lake Utah. We're on Lake Utah. It's what's the name of the Lake Shore? Campground. Lakeshore Campground. So it's a partial hookup. So right now all I have is water and power, but they do have a dump site. So that's a partial hookup. Sometimes you might just have power and nothing else, so you just kind of got to know what you're getting into. A lot of sites, they'll have all the hookups and you're good. So, and also if you're getting ready to go to another site with partial hookups, you want to be prepared and have the gray-black tanks emptied and your freshwater tank full.
And if you're going to a site with no hookups, like we did in Yellowstone, you want to make sure that your rig is equipped for boondocking or dry camping. For example, we stayed only one night, and it got cold at night, and our batteries got drained completely to the point where we couldn't even start the generator. It was cold in the morning.
So we couldn't raise the jacks or bring the slide in, so I had to use my...
We thought we were going to stay in Yellowstone forever.
I had to use my Jeep to and jumper cables to jump the coach battery to even get the jacks raised and the slide in, put in, and then we ended up getting rid of those batteries and got lithium-ion batteries, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But, so know what kind of hookups that they have. That's a big one. And also on these partial hookups, most of them do have a dump station and a fill station. So when you're leaving, you can go ahead and dump your tanks and fill up with fresh water. And you also want to know if the water's potable or not. The next simple question I like to ask is if you can do a wood fire, because we usually love having fires, but there's a lot of areas you get in, whether it be national parks or whether it's dry season, high fire season where they won't let you.
From my observation, for some reason, private campgrounds, those kind of like RV resort type of places, have not been allowing fires lately. And regular like state parks and national parks are allowing fires. For example, in Yellowstone, we stayed in West Yellowstone at the private campground, and they did not allow fires. Then we moved to inside the Yellowstone, and they were just fine with fires.
Surrounded by trees.
Yeah, and then here, the same thing in Utah. We stayed at the private campground for the first night, no fires there, and now we moved to the state park, perfectly fine, 2 fire pits. Okay,
so that moves on to the last question we'd like to ask about amenities.
Yeah, you always want to check on the amenities. Of course, especially if you have kids, you want to have a playground, and if they have a pool, definitely a bonus. Then also with the COVID, you want to check if they're open. And sometimes even bathrooms are closed. So you want to make sure that you're staying at the campground that has amenities that you need and that those amenities are open. Laundry is another one. Is definitely a good thing to have.
Because we do not have a washer and dryer in our motorhome, so we rely on these campgrounds from time to time and most of them do seem to have laundry sites, so that's been good. We've been able to do laundry once a week. So
yeah, a lot of times it's not a deal breaker, but it's good to know. For example, if we're going to a campground that has, and we know it has a pool, we can tell our little 2-year-old girl that, hey, we're going, like she can look forward to that campground, like we're gonna go to the pool, and she'll be talking about it. But you don't want to mention it if they don't have it or it's closed. So yeah. That's a good thing to check on. And really quick to sum it up, so we went
the last thing is Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. But a lot of times campground Wi-Fi is not the best. Good to have your own. But yeah, if they have it, it's a bonus. At least maybe like kids can watch a show or something.
All right.
Yeah, that sums it up. So we have 5 questions to ask yourself or a campground, or both. Check-in, check-out time, that's important. Is it a pull-through or back inside? Full or partial hookups?
No hookups.
Or no hookups? What kind of hookups?
Can we roast s'mores over a wood fire?
Wood fire and amenities. Pools, playgrounds, Wi-Fi, laundry, and all that kind of good stuff. And that sums it up for today, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode of RV Cubs Show.
RV Cubs out. Peace.